Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester just asked RFK Jr. a simple question. The U.S. was measles-free for over 25 years through Republican and Democratic administrations until you became HHS Secretary. Does the president know about the historic measles surge? Kennedy said he's sure he does.
Does the president know there is a historic measles surge occurring nationwide?
I'm sure he does.
She asked if the president thinks losing measles-free status is not significant, as Kennedy's own CDC deputy said. Kennedy said yes. Then the contrast. The president talks about his Golden Ballroom 1 out of every 3 days. How many times has he spoken about the measles epidemic? Kennedy said he doesn't count that.
I have a question. Do you know how many times the president has spoken about the measles epidemic?
I don't count that. We don't keep track of that data at CDC.
Has he advised the president to sound the alarm on vaccines? Kennedy said it's his job, not the president's. Does he take any responsibility? He said it began before him. She took that as a no. An independent review of our measles status was scheduled for April. It got delayed until after the election. Kennedy said he had nothing to do with it. Awfully convenient. Let's watch.
Senator Blunt Rochester.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The United States first became measles-free over 25 years ago, a quarter of a century. We have maintained that status in every year since, until you became secretary. A simple yes or no. Does the president know there is a historic measles surge occurring nationwide?
You want me to answer
the question? It's just a very simple question.
Just want
yes.
a grandstand.
You're going to get your opportunity.
You want a grandstand?
Can you answer?
I can answer that question.
Yes
I didn't cause
no?
the measles epidemic. It started before I came in.
Sir, I'm giving you the opportunity to answer the question. Mr. Chairman, can I get my time back from this rudeness? Mr. Chairman?
I'm sorry.
I was asking, can I get my time back
Yes, you can.
from him interrupting
Yes.
a simple yes or no question? Does the president know there is a historic measles surge occurring nationwide?
I'm sure he does.
You're sure he does. Remarkably, Ralph Abraham, your former CDC principal deputy director, said that losing our measles-free status is not really significant and just the cost of doing business with our borders. Another simple yes or no. Does the president think this is not a significant issue?
Losing our measles elimination status?
Yes.
Well, most of the countries are losing it.
Does he think it's a
I'm
significant
sure he doesn't
problem?
think it's a good development that's happening all over the world.
Have you talked to him about it?
About measles?
About the outbreaks? About the crisis in this country?
I have.
Okay, so yes or no, he does know it's a problem.
Yes.
According to the Washington Post, the president makes public statements about his plans for the new Golden Ballroom at a pace that rivals and even exceeds the mentions of some major policy priorities. He talks publicly about the ballroom 1 out of every 3 days. And so I have a question. Do you know how many times the president has spoken about the measles epidemic?
I don't count that. We don't keep track of that data at CDC.
So as head of our nation's head health agency, have you advised the president to sound the alarm and encourage Americans to obtain the measles vaccine?
Am I going to get a question to answer, a chance to answer this, or you're just going to talk?
That was a question for you.
Excuse me?
The question was, have you alerted the president to sound the alarm? You're the head of HHS, the leading health agency in our country.
That's my job, and we do it.
So yes or no?
It's my job, not the president's job, and I do my job.
I'm concerned about it. I've watched a lot of these hearings. You blame the Mennonites, you blame immigrants, you blame the globe. We've been part of the globe, and still we are in this situation. Do you take any responsibility in your role for the situation that we are in with this measles epidemic?
As I said, the measles epidemic began before I came into office.
I'm going to take that as a no. The Pan American Health Organization was scheduled to review our measles-free status on April 13th. Did your department request to delay this independent international review of our measles elimination status to November after the election?
No.
So you did not request it, you had no knowledge of the request, you had no communication with the White House? Thank you. It's awfully convenient that we're postponing it until after November when people won't have the opportunity to know our measles status. I would just say this, there has been a lot in terms of polling on trust. You've talked a lot about trust. The people don't trust you, and I would ask, what is different from all these other years? You are. If the American people don't trust you, which most of the polls show, I don't know why the president should trust you either. I yield back.
A cabinet secretary accountable for a public health failure. Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester came prepared with facts, with timelines, with a specific contrast between what the president talks about and what he ignores. She asked simple yes or no questions, and she did not let Kennedy dodge. The United States was measles-free for over 25 years. That status was maintained through Republican and Democratic administrations. It was a public health achievement that took decades to accomplish. Then Kennedy became Secretary of Health and Human Services. Now the country is experiencing a historic measles surge. Blunt Rochester asked the simplest question in the world. Does the president know? Kennedy said he is sure the president knows. That is not an answer. That is an assumption. She asked if the president thinks losing measles-free status is not a significant issue. Kennedy said yes. He said most countries are losing it. That is not a defense. That is an admission of failure dressed up as inevitability. Blunt Rochester then laid out the contrast that should be on every news channel in America. The president talks about his Golden Ballroom 1 out of every 3 days. Do you know how many times the president has spoken about the measles epidemic? Kennedy said he does not count that. He does not keep track of that data at the CDC. That is remarkable. The head of the CDC does not track whether the President of the United States has mentioned a deadly, preventable disease that is spreading across the country. He does not know. He does not care to know. He is not tracking it. Then, Blunt Rochester asked if Kennedy has advised the President to sound the alarm. Kennedy said it is his job, not the President's job. That is a dodge. Of course it is his job. He is the Secretary of HHS. But it is also the president's job to lead. It is the president's job to use the bully pulpit. It is the president's job to tell Americans to get vaccinated. The president has not done that. Instead, he has talked about a ballroom. Kennedy will not say that. He will not criticize the president. He will not even acknowledge that the president could be doing more. Blunt Rochester asked if Kennedy takes any responsibility for the measles epidemic. He said the epidemic began before he came into office. That is not a no. That is an evasion. He did not say he takes responsibility. He did not say he is doing everything he can. He said it started before him. Blunt Rochester said she would take that as a no. She was right. Then Blunt Rochester asked about the Pan American Health Organization review. The review was scheduled for April 13th. It would have confirmed that the United States has lost its measles-free status. That is embarrassing for the administration. The administration requested to delay the review until November, after the election. Kennedy said he did not request it. He had no knowledge of the request. He had no communication with the White House. Blunt Rochester did not believe him. She said it is awfully convenient. It is. The American people will not know the true status of the measles epidemic until after they vote. That is not transparency. That is politics. Blunt Rochester's closing statement was the most important part of the hearing. She said there has been a lot of polling on trust. Kennedy has talked a lot about trust. The people do not trust him. She asked, what is different from all these other years? The answer is nothing. The difference is that the American people have lost confidence in the institutions that are supposed to protect them. They have lost confidence in the CDC. They have lost confidence in the FDA. They have lost confidence in the HHS. And they have lost confidence in the man who runs it all. Blunt Rochester did not raise her voice. She did not interrupt. She did not call Kennedy names. She asked questions. She listened to the answers. She pointed out the contradictions. She did her job, and she did it well. Kennedy, by contrast, complained about rudeness. He asked for his time back. He accused Blunt Rochester of grandstanding. He did not answer the questions. He evaded. He deflected. He blamed the timing. He said it started before him. He did not say, I am responsible. He did not say, I am fixing this. He did not say, the president should be talking about this. He said nothing. The underlying issue here is not about measles. It is about competence. It is about trust. It is about whether the people running the government are capable of protecting the public health. The United States maintained measles-free status for a quarter of a century. That did not happen by accident. It happened because of vaccines. It happened because of public health campaigns. It happened because of trust in public health institutions. That trust is gone. The measles is back. And the Secretary of Health and Human Services cannot answer simple questions about it. That is not a failure of one person. That is a failure of an administration. And the American people are paying the price.